You have spent years, no, decades pouring your time, your energy, and your heart into others. You have been the backbone of your family, the support system for your friends, the one who always showed up, always sacrificed, always put others first. And while that may have brought you joy, fulfillment, and purpose, there comes a time when you must recognize that your time is no longer something to be given away freely. It is something to be cherished, protected, and honored. The days of running on empty for the sake of others are over. You have spent your life being strong for everyone else, but have you ever stopped to ask yourself who has been strong for you? You have carried burdens that were never meant to be yours, fought battles that weren't yours to fight, and put your own needs aside time and time again. But now you have the chance, the right to take back what belongs to you. Your time is the most valuable asset you have, and unlike money, once it's gone, you don't get it back. Every moment you spend worrying about things that no longer serve you, engaging in conflicts that drain you, or giving away your energy to some people who don't appreciate it is a moment you can never reclaim. You owe it to yourself to be intentional about how you spend the time you have left. There is no shame in putting yourself first. You have given, you have sacrificed, you have done enough. Now it's time to redirect that energy inward. It's time to nurture yourself the way you have nurtured others. Whether that means spending more time in solitude, indulging in the things that bring you peace, or simply learning to say no without guilt, this is your moment to embrace life on your own terms. The world will continue to move, people will continue to demand, and life will keep throwing distractions your way, but you don't have to engage with any of it. You get to decide what deserves your time and what doesn't. You get to choose whether to chase unnecessary obligations or stand firm in the life you are building for yourself now. You think about all the things you've put off, all the dreams you've set aside, all the moments you wish you had to yourself. This is the time to go back to those things. This is the time to give yourself what you once denied. You are not being selfish. You are honoring the years of effort you've already given. You are choosing to prioritize yourself in a way that you never have before. People may not understand, and that's okay. Some will call it distancing. Others will call it withdrawal. But the truth is, it's neither. It's self-respect. It's recognizing that your energy is not infinite and should not be wasted on things that do not bring you joy, peace, or fulfillment. You do not owe explanations for your choices. You do not have to justify your need for space, silence, and self-care. There is freedom in embracing the life you deserve without hesitation, without apology. There is power in stepping back and reclaiming every single moment that belongs to you. There is beauty in finally giving yourself the same love and devotion you have given to the world for so long. Silence has always been misunderstood. People associate it with weakness, with submission, with a lack of confidence. But in reality, silence is one of the greatest sources of power a person can possess. It is not about avoiding confrontation or being passive. It is about understanding that not everything deserves a response. Not every argument is worth your energy, and not every situation requires your participation. The moment you realize this, you begin to move differently, and the world starts to notice. Speaking less does not mean you have nothing to say. It means you have mastered the art of choosing when and how to speak. There is strength and restraint in knowing that your words hold weight when used wisely. People who talk excessively often give away too much of themselves, leaving little room for mystery, control, or presence. The person who can sit in silence, who can observe without reacting, who can remain calm while others lose themselves in noise, this is the person who holds true power. Observation is a skill, one that allows you to see beyond the surface of things. When you talk too much, you miss details. You overlook body language, the unsaid words, the shifts in energy. But when you are silent, when you listen more than you speak, you begin to see people for who they truly are. You catch inconsistencies, you notice patterns, and you develop an understanding of situations that others are too distracted to see. Silence sharpens your intuition, making you wiser, more aware, and less susceptible to manipulation. There is an undeniable peace that comes with choosing silence over unnecessary engagement. Arguments, debates, and conflicts drain energy. The more you defend yourself, the more you explain, the more you try to prove something, the more power you give away. Not every situation requires a response, and sometimes the greatest response is no response at all. Silence disarms people. It confuses them. It forces them to sit with their own thoughts and assumptions instead of feeding off your reactions. Energy is not infinite, and where you direct it determines the quality of your life. Every conversation, every emotional investment, every unnecessary debate pulls from your reserves. Protecting your energy means being selective with your words, choosing when to engage and when to walk away. It means understanding that peace is more valuable than being right, that presence is more important than proving a point, and that wisdom is found in knowing what is worth your time and what is not. The world teaches us to speak up, to be loud, to demand attention, but real influence comes from controlled energy. The strongest people do not need to shout to be heard. Their presence alone commands respect. Their silence makes people curious, draws them in, forces them to lean closer to understand what they are thinking. There is something magnetic about a person who does not feel the need to explain themselves constantly, who is comfortable in their own thoughts, who does not seek validation through words. Choosing silence does not mean isolating yourself or suppressing your thoughts. It means being intentional with your voice, knowing that what you say has impact when spoken at the right time. It means understanding that words are tools, and like any tool, they should be used with precision. Speaking only when necessary gives your words more meaning, makes people listen more attentively, and allows you to maintain control over any situation. Mastering silence is mastering yourself. It is about knowing when to step back, when to let people reveal themselves, when to protect your peace, and when to strike with purpose. It is a form of discipline, a way to conserve energy, a method of commanding respect without force. It is a lesson that, once learned, changes the way you navigate the world forever. There was a time when every disagreement felt like it needed to be addressed. Every slight demanded a response, and every argument seemed like a battle that had to be won. But as time passes, you start to realize that not every conflict is worth your energy. The constant need to defend yourself, to prove your point, to make sure others see things your way, it drains you, it exhausts you, and in the end, it rarely changes anything. Some people argue not to understand, but simply to argue, and engaging with them is a never-ending cycle that leads nowhere. The more you engage in unnecessary battles, the more you give away your peace. Every argument, every moment spent trying to convince someone who refuses to listen is a moment taken away from your own well-being. Your time is too precious to waste on conflicts that do not serve you, on people who thrive on chaos, on situations that will not matter a year from now. Choosing peace over conflict is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is knowing that your energy is limited and you would rather invest it in something meaningful than waste it on proving a point to someone who does not care. There is a difference between standing up for yourself and fighting every battle that comes your way. Strength is not about responding to every insult or defending yourself against every misunderstanding. Strength is knowing when to walk away, when to let people believe whatever they want, when to let go of the need to be right. Sometimes the greatest power is in silence, in restraint, in refusing to be pulled into someone else's negativity. The moment you stop engaging in unnecessary battles, you gain control over your own mind, your own emotions, and your own life. People will try to provoke you, to pull you into their chaos, to bait you into reacting. They will say things to test your patience, to see if they can shake you, to get a rise out of you. When you refuse to react, when you choose to remain calm, you take that power away from them. You show them that you are not easily moved, that their words do not define you, that your peace is more important than their attempts to disturb it. The strongest person in the room is never the loudest. It is the one who remains composed while everyone else loses control. The world is full of noise, arguments over opinions, debates over trivial matters, conflicts that lead nowhere. The more you detach from these things, the more you realize how small and insignificant they really are. You start to see how much of life is wasted on things that do not truly matter. When you learn to let go of unnecessary battles, you open yourself up to real peace, real happiness, real freedom. There is nothing more valuable than protecting your own energy, your own mind, your own sense of calm. There is nothing more powerful than knowing that you do not have to attend every argument you are invited to, that you do not have to respond to every insult, that you do not have to waste another moment of your life proving yourself to those who will never understand you. Happiness is not something that just happens. It is something that must be built, nurtured, and protected. Too many people spend their lives waiting for happiness to come from external sources, a better job, more money, the approval of others, but true happiness comes from within. It is a choice, a daily investment, a commitment to yourself, The moment you stop waiting for life to bring you joy and start actively creating it, everything begins to change. Self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it is the foundation of everything else in your life. When you neglect yourself, you feel drained, exhausted, and disconnected. But when you prioritize your well-being, when you nourish your body with good food, rest, and movement, when you take time for the things that bring you peace, you operate at a different level. You show up stronger, calmer, and more present in everything you do. Health is the greatest wealth you will ever have. You can have all the success, all the possessions, all the experiences in the world, but if you do not have your health, none of it matters. Investing in your health means listening to your body, making choices that support your longevity, and understanding that every small action, what you eat, how you move, how you manage stress adds up over time. Prioritizing your health is an act of self-respect, a promise to yourself that you will not take your body for granted. Personal growth is the key to staying alive in more than just a physical sense. The moment you stop growing, learning, and challenging yourself, you start to stagnate. Investing in your happiness means feeding your mind with knowledge, surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, and pushing yourself to become better. It means stepping outside of your comfort zone, trying new things, and allowing yourself to evolve into the person you are meant to be. Happiness is not about escaping reality, but about creating a reality that feels good to live in. It is about finding joy in the simple things: sunlight on your face, a conversation with someone who truly understands you, a quiet moment alone with your thoughts. When you stop chasing happiness in the big, fleeting moments and start appreciating the small, consistent ones, you realize that happiness was always within your reach. The relationships you keep should add to your happiness, not take away from it. Too often, people hold on to toxic relationships out of habit, obligation, or fear of being alone. But your happiness depends on the people you allow into your space. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, who bring peace into your life, who genuinely care about your well-being. Let go of those who drain you, who constantly bring negativity, who do not respect your boundaries. Time is the one thing you can never get back, so spend it in ways that nourish your soul. Do the things that make you feel alive, that bring you fulfillment, that make your days feel meaningful. If something is no longer serving you, let it go. If you have dreams you have been putting off, start taking steps toward them. If you have passions that have been buried under responsibilities, make space for them again. The best investment you will ever make is in the life you want to live. The world will always try to pull you in different directions, telling you what you should do, how you should live, and what should make you happy. But at the end of the day, only you know what truly brings you joy. The more you listen to yourself, honor your needs, and put yourself first, the more your happiness becomes unshakable, independent of circumstances, and deeply rooted in the choices you make every single day. Wisdom is not found in endless words, long speeches, or constant explanations. It is found in action. The most powerful lessons are not taught through talking, but through living. People may hear what you say, but they truly understand who you are by watching what you do. Your actions reflect your values, your discipline, and your character far more than any words ever could. When you live with integrity, you do not need to convince anyone of who you are. You do not need to prove yourself or explain your decisions. Your consistency, your habits, and your choices will speak for you. Those who are observant will notice, those who respect you will follow, and those who doubt you will eventually realize the truth. The best way to teach is by example, not by trying to force your perspective onto others. There is a reason why people admire those who lead with action rather than words. Talk is easy, it requires no effort, no commitment, no discipline. But action requires presence, responsibility, and intention. A person who follows through on their words, who aligns their actions with their principles, commands more respect than someone who only talks about what they plan to do. People may forget what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel through your actions. The way you treat others, the way you handle challenges, the way you conduct yourself in difficult situations leaves a lasting impression. When you approach life with wisdom, patience, and strength, you show others how to move through the world without ever needing to say a word. The strongest individuals are those who do not seek validation through explanations. They do not waste time convincing others to believe in them. They focus on walking their path, building their life, and allowing their actions to speak for themselves. When you embody wisdom in the way you live, People naturally gravitate toward you, not because of what you say, but because of the way you carry yourself. Actions reveal truth. People can say anything, promise anything, claim anything, but their actions will always expose their reality. This is why observing behavior is more important than listening to words. When someone truly believes in something, they do not just talk about it, they live it. This applies to everything: character, relationships, success, discipline. Words without action are meaningless, but action without words is undeniable. Wisdom is knowing when words are unnecessary. It is understanding that people will either see your truth or they won't, and that the perception does not change reality. It is having the patience to let time reveal everything. The loudest voices are often the most insecure, but those who move in silence, who build without announcing, who grow without seeking attention, are the ones who leave the biggest impact. A life lived with purpose, discipline, and authenticity is the greatest message you can ever send. It is proof of what is possible, a roadmap for those who seek guidance, and an unshakable foundation for yourself. Wisdom does not need to shout, it is seen, felt, and remembered through action. Drama is everywhere. It exists in families, in friendships, in workplaces, and in society as a whole. People get caught up in arguments, opinions, and conflicts that have nothing to do with them. And before they know it, they are drowning in stress that was never theirs to carry. The world thrives on chaos, but you do not have to participate in it. The moment you learn to detach, you begin to experience a level of peace that most people never find. Family will always have issues, disagreements, old resentments, expectations that feel impossible to meet. It is easy to get pulled into the same cycles, the same emotional battles that repeat over and over. But at some point, you have to ask yourself if it is worth it. Not every fight deserves your energy, and not every family dynamic can be fixed. Choosing to step back, to love from a distance, to protect your peace instead of engaging in unnecessary conflict is not abandonment, it is self-preservation. Detaching from drama does not mean you do not care. It means you value your peace more than meaningless conflict. It means recognizing that most problems resolve themselves without your involvement. It means understanding that some people thrive on negativity and will always look for ways to pull you in. When you refuse to engage, when you remove yourself from the chaos, you take away their power. The most peaceful people are not those who have no problems. They are those who have learned to let go. They do not waste time arguing with those who refuse to listen. They do not hold on to grudges that serve no purpose. They do not entertain gossip, pettiness, or toxic relationships. They know that their energy is sacred and they refuse to spend it on things that do not bring value to their lives. You do not owe anyone your emotional involvement. If a situation is draining you, if a relationship is filled with constant conflict, if the world feels overwhelming, you have the right to step back. You have the right to set boundaries, to protect your space, to choose yourself. The more you detach from unnecessary drama, the more you realize how much of it never actually mattered. Peace is a choice, and it is one that you must make every single day. There will always be something trying to pull you into negativity, but you do not have to take the bait. The less you react, the less you explain, the less you involve yourself in things that do not serve you, the freer you become. Inner peace is not something that just happens. It is something you cultivate, something you build through conscious effort. The world is loud, full of distractions, full of noise demanding your attention. But real strength comes from learning to tune out the chaos and find stillness within yourself. When you master the art of inner peace, nothing external can shake you. You become unbothered by things that once drained you, detached from negativity, and fully in control of your own energy. Silence is a gift most people never embrace. They fill every moment with conversation, with entertainment, with external validation, afraid to be alone with their thoughts. But solitude is where true clarity is found. When you strip away the distractions, when you sit in silence and listen to yourself, you begin to understand who you truly are. You realize what matters, what does not, and what you need to let go of. The world tells you to stay busy, to always be doing something, but real wisdom comes from learning to be still. There is a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is feeling empty in the absence of others, but solitude is finding fulfillment in your own presence. When you embrace solitude, you stop relying on external factors for happiness. You no longer need constant validation, constant noise, or constant engagement to feel complete. You learn to be your own source of strength, to enjoy your own company, and to trust your own intuition without the influence of others. Clarity is a byproduct of stillness. The more time you spend in quiet reflection, the more you begin to see things for what they really are. You start recognizing patterns in your life, understanding the people around you, and making decisions from a place of wisdom instead of impulse. When you allow yourself to pause, to think, to breathe before reacting, you stop making choices based on emotions and start making them based on insight. Embracing inner peace does not mean avoiding challenges or pretending problems do not exist. It means facing them with a clear mind, without panic, without unnecessary stress. It means developing the ability to stay calm under pressure, to navigate life with patience and grace. People who master inner peace do not get easily provoked, do not waste energy on pointless conflicts, and do not let external circumstances dictate their emotional state. The ability to be at peace within yourself is one of the greatest forms of strength. Most people let the outside world control their mood, their thoughts, their sense of well-being. They react to every little thing, letting external events pull them in different directions. But when you have inner peace, you become untouchable. You are no longer at the mercy of other people's opinions, of temporary setbacks, of fleeting emotions. You move through life with confidence, knowing that nothing outside of you has the power to disturb your inner world. Stillness is where transformation happens. When you spend time alone, when you disconnect from distractions, when you stop looking outward and start looking inward, you begin to grow in ways you never imagined. You become more self-aware, more intentional, more in tune with what truly makes you happy. You start letting go of the things that do not serve you, and you begin building a life that aligns with your deepest values. The more you master inner peace, the more you realize that it is the foundation for everything else. It gives you clarity, it gives you strength, it gives you the ability to navigate life without being constantly overwhelmed. In a world that thrives on noise and chaos, the ability to be still, to be calm, to be completely at peace within yourself is the ultimate power. True impact is not measured by how loudly you speak or how much attention you demand. It is measured by the strength, wisdom, and example you leave behind. The world is filled with noise, people trying to prove themselves, trying to be heard, trying to control the narrative. But real power does not come from volume, it comes from presence. The strongest individuals are not the ones who talk the most, but the ones who live with such integrity, resilience, and wisdom that their influence lasts far beyond their words. When you live with strength, you do not need to announce it. People feel it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you face challenges without fear, in the way you make decisions based on principles rather than pressure. Strength is not about overpowering others. It is about mastering yourself. It is about standing firm in your values, maintaining your peace in the face of chaos, and knowing when to walk away from things that do not serve you. Wisdom is not something you force onto others. It is something they absorb from the way you live. You do not have to explain your choices to everyone. You do not have to convince others to see things your way. The lessons that truly stick are not the ones spoken, but the ones demonstrated through action. The greatest mentors, leaders, and role models are those who teach by example, who inspire others simply by being who they are. The world remembers actions far more than words. People will forget what you said in the heat of an argument, but they will always remember how you treated them. They will remember the way you remained calm when others lost control, the way you stayed true to yourself when it would have been easier to conform, the way you carried yourself with quiet confidence instead of seeking validation. The strongest legacies are built on consistency, integrity, and the impact of unshakable character. There is power in knowing that you do not have to react to everything. Not every situation requires a response. Not every insult deserves a reply, and not every battle is worth fighting. Those who leave the greatest impact are not those who wasted their energy proving themselves at every turn, but those who knew when to speak and when to stay silent, when to step in and when to let things unfold on their own. Strength is found in restraint just as much as it is found in action. Your legacy is not in how much attention you commanded, but in the lives you touched and the example you set. The people who truly matter will not remember you for how loudly you spoke, but for how you made them feel. Did you bring peace or chaos? Did you inspire confidence or doubt? Did you teach by example? Or did you just add to the noise? The answers to these questions define the kind of mark you leave behind. Time will erase most of what you say, but it will not erase the impact of how you lived. The lessons you pass down, the strength you show in difficult times, the wisdom you leave for those who come after you, these are the things that last. The loudest voices fade, but true strength, real wisdom, and genuine impact endure. Your presence in this world should not just be something that people hear, it should be something they feel, something that remains even after you are gone. In the end, what truly matters is not how much noise you made, but how much strength you shared. Live in a way that makes people remember your wisdom, not your words. Let your actions be your voice, your peace be your power, and your legacy be one of quiet strength that speaks long after you do.